Sonny, Joey, 500. Got some goats in the building.
Get ready for a shakedown.
Prepare for a shakedown. We from Philly where they clap like huddles when they break down. Get ready for a shakedown. We underdogs, my guy. Kinda used to all the hate now. Prepare for it, man. Y'all get it. My QB got swag. My wideout is award winning. His fly was fly. Joey and 500. Like and subscribe. Yeah. Here's a quote you can sing back. Shake squad up and don't be a dingbat. It's a shakedown.
Don't you frown.
It's
Here
a
comes the shakedown.
Let's go.
Yo, by the way, dig my hero. Welcome to the Philly Shakedown podcast with your man, Philly 501, Joey Shakes. What is happening, my man?
I'm doing good. I feel like we haven't talked. I mean, I feel like it's been a while. I feel like this week has gone really slow for some weird reason. I feel like we haven't talked in like
I wonder
2
why.
months.
Yeah. It's been a busy, crazy kind of week. That's for sure. I for me, it's just been a lot of other stuff outside of YouTube going on. So it's just one of those weeks where, couldn't do as many videos as I want. So I did a little more live streams just because of timing. But it is what it is. But how's everybody doing? I hope you guys are doing good. Timothy, what's going on? Jordan, Nathan, Dominic, Trey, Eric, Brooks, Nina. Nina, I took care of it. You're good to go now. Antonio, Logan, Donnie, Easy is his name. Timothy, Trey, Nathan, 125. Thank you guys all for being here. And anybody I forgot, Cole, Eli, Bryce, Maurice, Brooks, first super chat of the night. Thank you so much. We can't overlook tight end Jake Ferguson of the Cowboys. We're gonna talk about Ferguson because he's, to me, one of their only threats that they have besides CeeDee Lamb. But yeah, he is what they got. I guess the news today for the Cowboys just keeps getting worse. The reports are that Dak is having season-ending surgery. So Dallas their season is done. You can tell. I mean, probably most of you guys could tell by just the Cowboy fans themselves. Like, I could tell my numbers are a little down because the Cowboy fans have checked out. Because usually, especially during Cowboy-Eagle week, I usually get a lot of Cowboy fans. So they know their season's over. And now we're in a situation where we go into a game that really, in some ways, like, I don't want to say trap game because it's a division opponent, but we're all looking at that big Thursday night game versus Washington. We just are. But we got to take care of Dallas. First thing I want to ask you is, what do you make of the whole Jalen Hurts ankle situation? I didn't talk about it yesterday because I really didn't think there was anything to it, but maybe there is, maybe there isn't. I don't know. What are your thoughts on that whole situation?
I mean, Jalen Hurts started a couple days ago at practice. They had him as a rest day, but he wasn't practicing, so everybody was questioning what was going on. Like, why is he completely resting? Not even a light day, nothing even close to that. I don't know, dude. Sirianni goes to the press conference the next day, a couple days later, whatever it is, and now he discusses that there's an ankle injury. And then he kind of backtracks his statement and says, "Oh, no, I thought you meant something else," or whatever he meant.
Somebody else,
all the beat writers are like, wait, an ankle injury? So everyone's like, what's going on? I don't know. He tried to play that off. It didn't play well. It didn't play off too
nobody believes him, I think. I think I was the only dumb gagoots that believed that he was probably telling the truth. Maybe because I just didn't want to believe that he had an ankle injury. But, I mean, I don't know. I don't know. I mean, he would technically, if he's doing that, that's violation. You can get in trouble for that. You've got to list the injury on the injury report. You can't keep it like that. So no. I don't know what to make of it. I mean, they did show him at practice the next day, and he looked fine to me. So I don't know what to make it at all. If it was just a slip,
we'll find out.
Or I guess we'll find out. Sue Blaze, David Super Chat. What's up, fellas? What's going on? How are you? Hope you're doing well. I don't know. I don't know what to think. I don't know what to think about it. Oh, look, Dak Prescott's here. He must be sitting there getting ready for surgery. Sorry, I can't whoop you guys. My team sucks. I'm quitting this year. We know. You know what I
I
mean?
think the advantage that the Cowboys have, and it's not really much of an advantage. Cooper Rush is what he's 5-1 when Dak wasn't playing in his career on the Dallas Cowboys at least, and the Eagles have no tape on Cooper Rush this season. So
Yeah.
of course they
Well,
can pull some things out. You know, they traded
yeah.
for Mingo, that receiver from the Panthers. They did like a weird we'll talk about the trade deadline, but it was just a weird trade for them to make for some reason.
Yeah,
So
that to me was Jerry Jones trying to appease the fans
yeah.
because he didn't do anything. And I personally think that, you know, and I know people don't want to hear about Dallas, but just saying, I just think that the whole season was a setup. Like I think he didn't want to pay Dak. He paid him.
He
I
didn't want to
think
do nothing.
I don't think he wanted to win. I don't. I think he wanted a high draft pick. We're going to actually have to worry about Dallas getting a top 3-4 pick, you know, something like that, because they stink. They're stinking. Their schedule, I don't think it gets any easier.
Right.
So we'll see. Timothy says latest report shows we're all healthy. Yeah. So the injury report looks good.
Really
Devontae
good.
Smith, he's going to go. AJ Brown's going to go. Dallas Goedert's going to go. So I'm good with it. I was even suggesting like
Setting him out.
Sitting him out for why have anybody not, you know, ready to go against Washington? It's like we got to be fully ready to battle Washington. Not that I think Washington's all that great, but they always play us tough anyways. Always play us tough. Dude, that game is like I can't wait.
I know it's tough. It's tough to overlook. Right? It's tough to overlook this Cowboys game, because really that Thursday night game in Philadelphia is a big game. Biggest Thursday night football game of the season.
It is. It's huge, especially for the Eagles, because if they win that game, the worst you could do with Washington the rest of the year is split. So it's just a huge game, and Dallas really stinks. You know, Mavericks. Thank you for super chat. Sixers are a disaster. They definitely are. It's hard to watch them.
You want to get in and out of this game as fast as you possibly can. Like the main thing I'm looking for is by the second half, middle of the third to the end of the third, is getting that separation, sitting your starters. I mean, I'm already shocked that AJ Brown is actually playing in this game. Like I didn't know how this injury was going to persist throughout the week, but I was actually shocked that like not even like a few days later, he was already on the field. He was running, he was doing all this. So that was great to see. So thank God. We were worried he wasn't even going to play next week with that injury happen. We got a little nervous, but to see everyone back, and this is without Jordan Mailata being back, which he'll be back soon, hopefully. Britton Covey, some of these other injuries we have. We got reinforcements coming back as well. So you want to get in and out of this game like ASAP. Do not drag this. Do not drag this game.
I know. Dude, I would love to just be like, all right, Kenneth Gainwell, your night, let's go. And just rest Barkley as much. I mean, Barkley's got to get carries, but I don't want him to get 27 carries this week and then have to play 4 days later. Like you gotta keep him somewhat rested. That Washington game is a bigger game than this Dallas game. However, if you don't beat Dallas, it doesn't help. You gotta beat Dallas too. So really, this 2-game stretch here is the most, I think, important stretch. Maybe it might be all year. It really might be until like December. So it's tough. Marcus says, "Oh, what up, Two Goats? What's going on, my man? How are you?"
Yeah, you're reaching the danger zone with Barkley. We've already discussed this now because the last few weeks he's ran the ball a lot. You can't run the ball with him over 25 times in this game. I'm looking through maybe 18 to 23 carries, maybe the least there. Because man, when you got to do what you got to do in games. If Gainwell is not producing, you have to put Barkley back in, and that is like you've said this for weeks. There's a big drop off from Saquon Barkley to Kenneth Gainwell. I actually did a video the other day, a couple days ago. I actually compared us to the Lions with Montgomery and their 2 backs that they have over there, which both of them have 7 touchdowns each for the season. And they have actually averaged more than what Gainwell only averages like 4 yards a carry as of right now. I think they average about 4 to like 5, 4, 9, 5 yards a carry, in Detroit. I think Will Shipley needs to. They need to do something because I don't, like I said, like I don't know how the Eagles value Gainwell as that number 2 behind Barkley. I just don't feel like I think he's just an average back behind a good back, and that's pretty much where I'm at.
Yes,
with that.
he is, and I'm not even making the argument to take carries away from Gainwell. I think Gainwell still needs his carries. I just think you got to add some to Shipley. Like let's say Barkley tomorrow, let's say Barkley has 25 carries tomorrow. Well, basically, he's got to be ready to go 3-4 days later. He's not getting a full week off. So, essentially, if he has that many carries, you can't practice him all week. He's got to rest all week until game day because you got to keep him somewhat fresh. So I hope we see actually a lot of Gainwell tomorrow. I hope we see a lot of Shipley tomorrow.
I'm gonna have to.
I hope that we can build up a lead quick enough to get these starters out by the fourth quarter. That's the dream case scenario. YouTube JCap a lot says people were saying it was Jalen Carter. That's what I think he was talking about too. But who knows? Who knows? Derek Rivera, thank you so much for the super chat. Appreciate it. We need to get a quick lead and rest our starters for Thursday. Enjoy the show, fellas. Thank you so much. Appreciate that, man. Yeah, we're just talking about. We agree. Chiquita, how you doing? Thank you for being here. Tomorrow needs to be Philly beatdown. No excuses. Dallas is trash. The only person who can screw this up is Shittiani. It's going to be interesting to see how he comes out. Like a lot of people are saying, he kind of tried to run it up on Doug, last week. Do you think Nick comes in and just like, I have no respect for this Cowboys team?
Bro,
out and throw. And we're just gonna roll.
He came in the next morning, and this is what I could say. If I don't know, dude. Like, if Howie and Jeffrey Lurie didn't like how he ran that game, why did he come in the next morning and say he didn't regret anything he did in that game, and he's gonna stay like that the rest of the season? If he did that, man, then either it's like Nick is just screw it up, and they like that he's that Jeffrey Lurie and Howie Roseman like that he's doing this, or Jeffrey Lurie and Howie Roseman are making him push the analytics that are given to him. I mean, it's one or the other, because you come in the next morning and you have no regrets on what you did in that game. Not even like they almost lost, not even that they almost choked that game. Nothing, man.
Yeah.
It's a little alarming, dude.
Yeah. Yeah. Down South Philly Show. Thank you for the super chat. I like that name. What's going on? I feel like the only thing that can keep this game close tomorrow is coaching. Go Birds. Yeah, I think that's what everybody feels. If every week it feels like we're talking about, all right, well, we got this or we got this, but as long as Nick doesn't do this and that, we'll be all right. You know what I mean? As long as Nick doesn't nuke the whole world, we'll wake up the next day. That's what it feels like sometimes. We have to win, it feels like, in spite of him. It just is. But, we'll see. I think that, honestly, my gut feeling is that this game is not going to be a close game early on. That this is going to be typical NFC football. It's going to be a lot closer early on. Dallas is going to keep it competitive until about the mid-third quarter, fourth quarter, and then the Eagles will blow it open because Dallas just doesn't have enough to keep up. I mean, when you look at the Cowboys, especially if you look at offensive, what scares you about them offensively? Okay, they have CeeDee Lamb, he's good in the slot. But do they have somebody that can get him the ball? You know what I mean? I actually think Ferguson may end up having a bigger game than Lamb in some ways because they're going to be dumping it off to him a lot.
I don't even think Lamb is 100% healthy for this game either.
Not.
I don't think he is. So
he's not. Elaine says we need points early so we can take our starters out. Yeah, we agree. We agree. With all the injuries, should have been a 1 p.m. game. Yeah, they don't know. They don't know who's going to get hurt and stuff.
Well, yeah.
I mean, Major Pains is 500. I sent you a link to. Okay, I'll check it out. I'll check it out after the show. Yeah, Barkley is a horse, but I still think you have to try to keep him. I still think you have to try to keep him somewhat fresh. As much as you can. You need him in the playoff run. So, Fabio Davis Super Chick goes, what running back of practice squad is downhill runner? I don't know much about the running backs on the practice squad, to tell you,
Kendall,
oh,
is
this
Kendall
guy's.
Milton still here? I don't even know if Kendall
I
Milton's
don't even know
still
if
here.
he's came back, Kendall Milton.
Yeah, I don't know.
But I don't know. They got a kid from San Francisco. I forget his name. But I don't know enough about him to tell you. You know, I think what you need to do is I think if Barkley could have, you know, a later day, and maybe Shipley gains 8 to 10 carries, let's see how he does. And Gainwell still gets what Gainwell gets. Gainwell fans out there, I'm not saying Gainwell loses any carries at all. But if Shipley could get some, and maybe we could take Barkley from, you know, 25 carries to 15 for this game.
Yeah.
Do it. And then Thursday, you unleash Barkley, 25 carries if need be. I don't care. You know, Anthony Wilson, David Super goes, I'll be at the game tomorrow. Oh, that's going to be cool. See if you see Mark Holmes. He's the dude flipping out, making all the videos. We got another home game in Texas. Yes, Matt says Gainwell fans. There's a lot of Gainwell fans, man. Eagles 2 wins says it sucks. This game isn't exciting. Cowboy fans will just blame the ownership. I wanted them at full strength because this team would still destroy them, and I want no excuses. I agree with you, man. I wanted a full, you know, a full healthy roster for Dallas, a full healthy roster for the Eagles. But yeah, it didn't work out that way, you know, and they're just not that good anyways. They really aren't.
No.
But that doesn't mean they're not going to be up to play this game. It doesn't mean that they're not going to be desperate to try to win this game. They are. The Eagles, they can't, the way we're talking, they can't come into this game with this mindset that we have.
No.
Fully acknowledge. You know, we're fans. We can overlook teams, but the players got to be ready to go.
Yeah, and they have to, like, they're going to look at the analytics, and they're going to have Nick say, you know what? Screw the analytics. Look at the injuries they have. They have this person out, that person out, this person out. So, you know, you're hoping that this defense doesn't play soft in the second half. That's the one thing, especially the mistakes that they made in the first half of that game, or at least all game with leaving points off the board. That defense played so off and just played so passive and just paper cut after paper cut after paper cut, literally just letting them get these 15, you know, these easy 10, 15-yard chunk yards going upfield. You know, I didn't like that at all. And that got the, you know, once you got the Jaguars getting that others, you know, that first score, like you gave them life, you know, you gave them life in the second half. You don't want to do that with this team.
That fumble with Barkley, it just
horrible.
Such a bizarre play. Which King says Cowboy fans will disappear when they are losing like they always do, which will be in the first quarter. Yeah, I mean, listen, they've already disappeared. The last 2 weeks, it started to slow down. After that Atlanta loss, I've seen a couple. There's a couple Cowboy fans I've seen, and they've been like, oh, yeah, we suck. But I haven't really seen many of them all week. You know, usually Dallas week, like my preview video, usually the Cowboy Eagle preview I do is usually one of my better preview videos, like number-wise. It was down. It's way down because I just, there are no Cowboy fans watching. They're gone. They've disappeared. You know, but if they win, you know, they'll be here. So we got to take care of business. Mark with the C says, I think the Eagles do a great job taking one a game at a time. I think they do too. You know, I think us overlooking a team is different than, we're fans. Players can't do that. You know, they shouldn't be thinking about Washington at all. Just focus on that 1-star rating, that you know, the black satanic magic that is out there trying to, you know, put spells on people and stuff. You got to take care of that team. You know, it's like it's
so
Dallas.
Let me ask you this, because we haven't talked about it yet because it happened already. Do you think Howie Roseman fumbled the trade deadline? How do you feel about the Eagles' view for this trade deadline not making any moves at all?
I think Howie was I don't think he fumbled it. I think he was in a situation where it was kind of new to him, in that you have so many young players that are playing good, and maybe not where they need to be yet, but they're starting to show signs of life, like Nolan Smith, right? N'Kobe Dean, like these linebackers. I think it was like I could go out and get a Zadarius Smith. I could get a guy in his 30s who will be here 1 year, but he's going to take away from these young guys. Do I really want to do that, or do I want to maybe let these young guys play? And I think that was the situation. Like, I think if a Trevon Walker, a young person like that would have become available, I think he would have jumped on it. But I don't think he was going to go out there and spend resources and get somebody to come in and then stunt the growth of some of these young guys. So I think he made, the calculated bet that the young guys will continue to get better. That's what I think he meant and did,
Yeah, I do respect the fact. Like, look, I wasn't expecting us to give up a second round pick for an edge rusher. We have our speculation. That's what we do all the time. We see what's out there, who they could sign. They take the Jahan Dotson trade as part of, obviously, before the trade deadline.
Yeah.
That was a move that they made. Obviously, Washington. I think Eagle fans were pissed off. A lot of them were pissed off because the Commanders took the third round pick we gave them. They went after Marshawn Lattimore, and we never topped that. We never topped that trade. Like, we have to top them now. But we have to realize, like the Kobe Dean, the linebackers in general, Nolan Smith. I mean, you gotta sometimes. And Vic Fangio even said, he's like, I've been in this game for 30 years. He said, usually when teams make these, these big trades for big names, like, they don't amount to anything at the end of the year.
No, they don't. And I still believe in taking a chance if you need to. But I think that with the way the Eagles were, it had to be somebody like young that would have been here for multiple years to come. Break Chris says Huff showing signs. I never mentioned Huff. I said Nolan Smith, and then I went to the linebackers. I didn't say anything about Huff because he stinks. No, Huff, no.
He was on the trade. Wasn't he on the trade? There was rumors he was on the trade block.
Right. But I think Nolan Smith is starting to come on. I think that, I think Josh Sweat has been playing better in recent weeks too. So I just think, then you got, who knows with Jalen Hunt. So I think if you look at the pass rush, they would have liked another pass rusher, but it wasn't going to be somebody that could take snaps away from like a Nolan Smith, so it had to be a young guy. And then the linebackers, I think how could you replace Huff? I mean, how could you play Bond or Dean? They're playing fantastic.
It's
crazy, right?
I can't even. Yeah, I mean, it's like Zach Bond needs a contract. Like, I'm waiting for it. Like, week to week, I'm already waiting for it. There's no way you let that man walk. It's insane, bro. It's insane.
Yeah. So I think the way I look at it with Howie is he's active in almost everything all the time. If you go 1 year and he doesn't do anything at the trade deadline, maybe it's not because he didn't try, which I'm sure he made phone calls, but maybe he likes what you got. Listen, I really like watching this defense. I think I really enjoy this team. Like, I'm enjoying the young guys on defense. Pause, no Diddy. But, I like watching these young guys play. I like watching Carter, even Davis, Nolan Smith. I like seeing how they're growing. I like seeing these linebackers come together. I like watching Q and Cooper. Like, I kind of like what we have.
Yeah.
And I want them to play,
If your main problem is getting sacks, and you really have to depend on like guys getting pressure, getting your and just tackling great, and getting the secondary to have some good fast break tackles, get 3-4 helmets on the football. I mean, DeJean has been like, I don't think nickel will be his role for the future. And if it is, I think it's a big weakness for this team. I think he needs to do a lot more for this defense.
I told you. He is that Swiss Army knife. You've got to move him based upon matchups week to week and where you need him. That should be his role. Like Malcolm Jenkins was used a lot of ways.
Yeah.
Torteville, thank you for super chat. He goes, definitely need to use Shipley to ease the workload for Barkley. Shipley runs more physical than Gainwell does. I agree. I agree. Down South Philly show, David Super Chat goes, Micah might be the best running back on Dallas's roster. Laugh out loud. Yeah, I saw MG in there. He's talking his shit. Said, who's gonna block Parsons? Dude, Parsons does not have a good record in terms of production versus us. Lane Johnson usually handles him just fine. Mac Daddy, plus here, think about this. He hasn't played in 4 weeks, right? How many snaps is he really going to get? He's going to be limited. Mac Daddy Dogs Catering, member for 34 months. Thank you so much. I'm always nervous first Cowboys, but we got this. I am too. And I think we got it. But it's really like dealing with Mark Holmes and stuff this week. It's a no-win situation for us because we have to win. And if they lose, they have all their excuses. And if we lose, then we, it's really bad. But Carlos David Superche goes over under Mark Holmes eating during our game. Oh God, the overs definitely. I'll say at least twice. At least twice, or maybe just one giant marathon. But thank you for the super chat.
I think respect has to be not respect has to be given. I think a lot of Eagle fans have given respect. Quinyon Mitchell, man, has had such a fantastic year. I'm gonna read this because I feel like this is really important here. So what he's done to every receiver he's faced every week. Okay, Christian Watson, 1 catch for 6 yards. Drake London, 1 catch for 5. Chris Olave was probably his worst game, 2 catches for 23 yards. Mike Evans, 2 for 19. Amari Cooper, 1 for 10. Malik Neighbors, 1 for 9. Jamar Chase, 2 for 19. And obviously, versus the Jaguars, it just says versus Jaguars, 1 for 11 on his matchups. It's insane, man. It's insane.
I mean, he's arguably the defensive rookie of the year. And if he would have had 3 interceptions, he would be the defensive rookie of the year.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah. I think I said my big hot take was that he's going to get 2 interceptions tomorrow. He's going to get 2. D Money says when you win more than 3 Super Bowls, then talk. Nah, when you've won, now you haven't won in over 30 years, over 20 years. I don't think you should talk either. Tourville, thank you for Super Chat goes, it's nice to finally have good drafted defensive backs. Think about the bums in the past like Curtis Marsh, C.J. Gaddis, Sidney Jones, etc. I know we missed so many times, and we hit the lotto with 2 of these guys, man. I'm assuming DeJean is going to be seeing a lot of CD tomorrow.
Probably.
I mean that's the biggest test he's going to have. I assume CD is going to get his yards because who else are they going to throw to? But I like what I've seen from DeJean. I like what I see from Q. And then you look at like those Dean and Bond. I mean, dude, there's just a lot of good young players on this defense. And they're not where they need to be, but I like where we're headed. You know what I mean? Yeah. And if we can find somebody to be consistent, if Nolan can become a consistent pass rusher by the end of the year, man, if we could just get that closer on the edge, I think we'll be good to go.
Yeah, and I think theoretically, like even when you go into a draft, I think it's harder to find like the right cornerback. I understand you went twice in this draft for DBs, and you pretty much got 2 first-round talents in this room. And DeJean should have been a first-round talent. I think we can all agree on that. But as for the defensive line, I think Josh Sweat is playing better. He's got 5 sacks for the year. He's got like 30 pressures, which is pretty good. We just need a little bit more. And as the weeks go by, it seems like they are getting better. But it would be nice to see, who's going to catch their stride. So
right.
That's all of these other years we've had. We've had capable guys in the secondary that, like a Malcolm Jenkins. Even when Malcolm Jenkins was here, he bandaged up our secondary. Everywhere there was kind of a weakness, he would take over that spot. But now it's our defensive line is. It was a building, it didn't look great beginning of the season. So it was a building process. We haven't had a defensive line look so lackluster in more of recent years, but it is growing by the week. We know this defense is going to go through their bumps and bruises. So it's growing. It's definitely growing.
To me, they're ahead of schedule. I expected to see more of this like in late December. So they're ahead of schedule. James Kemp says if they were smart, they would see what Trey Lance has. Yeah, I agree with you. Like, to me, playing Cooper Rush is like, are you really that desperate to win this year, or you want to see what this kid has for the future? I agree. Brooke, thank you for super chat. Goes, I want Cooper to cover Ferguson. That's how I want to use him at some point. I want to use him. Hey, we need you against the tight end this week. Boom. We need you against, this slot receiver this week. We need you at safety. Like, that's what I want to see from him in the future. But, we'll see. He's been very good. Q has been very good. Really, I mean, the biggest disappointment, and I love him, and I still think he's a hell of a player. I just don't think he's having his best year so far, is CJ Gardner-Johnson. But I still like him, and I'm not giving up on him at all, I believe CJ will be important down the stretch. He will. Antonio Holmes says, if Slay is trash, what is Diggs? Laugh out loud. Yeah, I mean, Diggs hasn't been good this year. And he's coming off a torn ACL or whatever. Nobody's ever good coming back from that injury. Matt Martin, David Superche goes, what's the percentage for home field advantage? And how far can we go? What can we do against Washington? What happens if Washington beats us? Well, you got to play Washington twice. So if the situation occurs where Washington beats you, then they're going to have an advantage, temporarily tiebreaker. But you'll see them again in Washington. You're going to have to go in there and beat them to have a split with them. As far as percentage for home field advantage, I don't know what the percentage is for them to go get home field. I know the percentage to go to the playoffs right now is like 80-something%. But I think the Eagles are in a collision course with Detroit. I think those are your best two teams in the conference. And we'll see. The good thing about the game versus Washington is it's at home.
Yeah.
And thank you for the super chat. I honestly don't know what the percentage of the chances of home field. But I think it's important.
Well, yeah. Home is great, but it's great that they're winning on the road as well. I mean, Washington's going to have, they have a challenge on their hands. I mean, really since the bye week, the Eagles have been a top 3 defense. I mean, it's really insane how this bye week really changed. It changed the offense in a lot of ways, and it definitely changed the defense dramatically since that bye week.
Yeah.
So,
well, I think. Do you think I think the big patch on this defense, that helped was Cooper DeJean coming and taking over for Vontae Maddox. When he came in, they started playing better. They just did.
Yeah.
Not that it's all his fault. It's all because of him, but because he's doing his job, I think the other guys can then focus on doing their job. I mean, Maddox was the guy getting beat on all those third downs. Every third down, it was Maddox. So I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, look at Evan Ingram. Like as soon as Max came to the game, they aimed straight at him. As soon as he got into the game, they went his way, and he gave up some big receptions right there. So I think the biggest, like we said, like DeJean's got to play nickel this year because he really has no choice. But obviously going to next season, it'll be nice to find more depth at that position because we have a lot of depth at corner, but a lot of them can't. A lot of them didn't cross train. A lot of them don't play on the inside. That's the only unfortunate part about it.
Right.
So
right. Which King says Pittsburgh going to blow Washington out tomorrow? Well, that game's in Washington. We'll see. I hope so.
What time they
it
play?
Would be great. That's a 1:00 game.
Okay.
I will be streaming that game tomorrow for everybody that want to know. I will be doing a doubleheader, so I'm gonna stream that game, stream the Eagles, and we could do a post game right after the Eagles game. But it would be great if Washington lost that game, then let them lose 2 in a row. I hope so.
Yeah,
I'll be rooting for Pittsburgh tomorrow. That's for sure. Jesse says, Howie Roseman is the man. Look around the league and find me a GM as good with the money roster moves. He's having better drafts, created 2 Super Bowl rosters with 2 different coaches. Who's done it? I don't know who's done it with 2 different coaches off the top of my head, but I do agree with you in terms of cap, in terms of trades, in terms of all those things. I think Howie does a really good job. The Dotson trade, okay, maybe it wasn't the best Howie trade. We'll see how that plays out. But I mean, if you look at this past draft, you tell me what was bad about it. You got, to me, the best 2 defensive backs in the draft, and then you got Jalen Hunt, who I'm sorry, but I think that kid's a player. And he's another guy. We talk about Will Shipley on the offensive side getting some carries. Well, what about Jalen Hunt? I mean, don't you think it's time to get this kid in on third downs and stuff?
Nick said this past week, Fangio said like a week or two, 2 weeks ago, maybe that he deserves more reps and he's not getting them. Like if you didn't want to go after a defensive end, if you want to just get a body in a rotation, Jalen Hunt needs more snaps. I think as a perimeter guy as well, I think he's your best edge rusher that could drop in coverage because none of these other guys can do it. We've seen Josh Sweat and Brandon Graham on Malik Neighbors. We saw Jabbar Chase, Nolan Smith on Jabbar Chase in the end zone. These guys just can't do it. But I think I think Jalen Hunt fixed the scheme so well.
Yeah.
They're missing out.
I mean, what if you put him in and he starts to produce like Q and DeJean? You know what I mean? And you get into the playoffs with a guy like that dangerous. See, that's when they become really dangerous. And that's, to me, that was the whole trade deadline. That's what Howie's betting on, in my opinion. Howie's betting that those young guys, maybe even Huff included, come together and get it going. So we got to hope. And I could tell you for the first time in maybe since 2017, dude, I'm not even lying. I actually enjoy watching this defense. Like I enjoy watching them. They are. You look at a lot of defenses in the past, it's just like, oh my God, no. So it is.
You're excited. Who's going to make a play this week? Who's going to get better this week? There's so many young players on this roster. It makes it more exciting to see them get better every week and see if they can make plays. It's very exciting every week, no doubt.
I have a feeling tomorrow is the Jalen Carter. I think he's going to destroy Dallas. I have a feeling he's going to.
Can I ask you a question? So, Jalen Carter had 6 pressures in the game against the Jags. Like, they were in his face a good amount of times in that game. They only had 2 sacks in that game. I think it was only 2 sacks. So, do you think Jalen Carter is suffering from not having a good, someone that's not producing or having an apex predator on the edge that's getting a lot of attention? Do you think he suffers from that? Like these
I think it hurts. I think it hurts sometimes because if you got a guy like, let's say, a Reddick, I hate to bring him up, people don't like it, but if you have a guy like that and you can't go to the outside, you have to kind of try to step up. That gives him the opportunity to make plays. So I do think it hurts on some level. Yeah, I definitely think it does. I also think that as a young kid, he's learning to be consistent. I think, and I honestly think there's games where he's played really good and just got no sacks, but he's been, very very influential and impactful. It just hasn't produced numbers like maybe people would like to see, but it will at some point. I think it will. Yeah. I even think that Jordan Davis has been better the last few weeks too. I think he had a really bad game versus Tampa before the bye week. And I think he's been better. I still like to see him become a better pass rusher, but I think he's even doing all right. Kyrene Clarkson, thank you for the super chat. How do you feel about the Eagles and Cowboys switching division champs? What do you think our weakness will be considering history repeats? Yeah, it's been Eagles, Cowboys pretty much every year, except for a few years. I think maybe 1 or 2 Washington, maybe a couple Giants. But, I think the Eagles' biggest weakness, in my opinion, if I'm being honest, it's coaching, head coach. I think he's the biggest. I think he does things that put us, behind the 8 ball, and we have to depend on talent to overcome it. I'm just keeping it real how I think. And then I think not having that outside edge rusher, consistent guy, I think that's another weakness. But other than that, I think they're pretty good.
Because when you look at other teams that have less of a skill set roster wise, that don't have the kind of players that we have, and they have good coaching behind it, it sometimes it looks really good. And then you have this roster, some games, some sequences, when you look at it, Nick or whoever does not make things look simple. Everything has got to be like we're clawing through nails in the sand just to get a first down, or to, if it's 4th and inches, why are you doing a play action? Like little things like that of what, make it simple for the offense. Don't rely on the brotherly shove so much, there's got to be different things that they can do. Give other players opportunities, so I think it comes from a standpoint, and I agree with 500. I think the biggest weakness is 100% of coaching. And I think, not saying it could end like last year, because I think they're playing way better than they are last year. They've blown out a couple teams. They're playing really good. So That's what's going to come down to, this coaching staff, no doubt.
Yeah, exactly. Jai Bravo says Washington game is 10. Yeah, 10 o'clock Pacific time, 1 o'clock Eastern. That's true. Sharks is the best thing, and thank you for super chat. The best thing for this team is to keep Nick, Vic, and Kellen for at least for the next 2 years. We need consistency. Yeah, listen, I agree. I think, especially with the offensive coordinator, because I think Vic Fangio ain't going anywhere. Like I think he's staying. He doesn't want to be head coach. He wants to be where he's at, and he's not going anywhere. I see him kind of like Jim Johnson, like for the next few years. Kellen Moore is the guy you have to worry about because, he might get a head coaching job. I don't know, but yeah, hopefully we can keep some consistency. That would be important. And thank you for that super chat. Appreciate it. And also, Kyron, thank you for the super chat as well. Big Chris says Zach Martin's out. Carr's going. Oh, he's out. I didn't even know Zach Martin was out. Well,
yeah.
Dallas got.
And their right tackle, their left tackle's out. Whatever, their draft pick this year. There was Guyton's out as well. I think both of those guys are out.
Yeah. Witch King says CD's going to try to hide from Q tomorrow. Well, I'm wondering if Q's going to even be on him tomorrow. Because if he's in the slot, wouldn't that mean DeJean's going to be at him? It's going to be DeJean and versus him. We'll see. They're probably going to have to move them all around. I don't know. Somebody was telling me in the chat the other day on my live stream that CD, when they had Cooper Rush last year and he was playing, they tried to put him outside when Rush was in. And he got he had like one catch in a couple games. He wasn't doing shit. And then once they moved him inside, he starts making all his plays. So we'll see how they use CeeDee Lamb tomorrow. CeeDee's going to try to hide from Q tomorrow. I'm sure. I'm sure he is. So we'll see. Bald Eagle David Super Chat, my man. He goes, ever notice a great coach has never had an overly talented roster? Has Belichick, Reed, Tomlin ever had insane talent on both sides? I mean, there's coaches that have had tremendous amount of talents on both sides, and they usually win when that happens. But yeah, I mean, there's a lot of coaches that haven't had talent at times, and players play above and beyond. I think if you look at this Eagles team, I think they have tremendous talent, especially offensive side of the ball. And I think they have a tremendous amount of young talent on the defensive side of the ball. And the experience is the important thing for these guys. What I get excited about, like with Q and with Cooper DeJean, is these guys are playing now. And they're starting to play good, right? They're getting reps. They're playing. They're starting to get better. What do you think they're going to be next year?
Yeah, well,
you know what I'm saying? They're going to be lights out.
Look at the offseason programs, too, because, you don't have a lackluster offense. You have good receivers facing against young talent on the defense, so they're getting a lot of practice put in against superstars, really. I would say 2 number 1 receivers that you have on this team. So iron sharpens iron, bro. And when it goes into the season, they just get better. That's what they're doing every week.
They are. ACP Baller. What's going on? He goes, Philly next year, and he's going to be the one who sinks the Eagles team. He and he alone. It's not the team. It will be his fault for this team or the downfall. Go Birds. Well, I mean, it seems like, just to back up what you're saying, there are times where mistakes and certain decisions have hurt us, and the team has had to overcome it. The one time they didn't was the Atlanta game. But other than that, and really, to be fair to Nick, that play to Saquon, he's just got to catch the ball. I can't get on Nick and go, oh, that was a bad call. No, you got to catch the ball. But I thought last week he did everything he did, like almost led to potentially giving that game away to the Jags. So he's got to be a little bit better in terms of certain things. Antonio Holmes says Guyton and Martin is out. You sure? I don't know. I don't know.
I heard Guyton was, but Zach Martin, I don't know.
Guyton might be. If Martin's out, that's to me that's the bigger loss. But we'll see. Israel, thank you so much for Super Chat. He goes, hell no, get Nick out of here. He hates Nick, dude. If they ever fire Nick, he's the guy that's got to drive him to the airport. It's got to be him. Twits, member for 19 months. He goes, Historani X. Going to curb stomp Historani X. It's going to curb stomp the couch.
Great movie. It's a good movie.
I've never seen it. Never seen it.
You never saw American History X before?
Yeah.
Wow.
Nope. I don't even know what it's about. What the hell is it about?
No. I mean, people just read the script. It's kind of a little political. So.
Oh, no. Believe me, I've had enough of that this week. Had enough of that to last like 3 years. Jesus. Not just on YouTube or anything, just like friends and stuff. It's like people, for 30 years are like, I don't want to talk to you anymore. Like, really? All right. Kit the Craze says, got a good question. How come you all don't collaborate with Lord Brunson? I've never seen you guys collaborate with Lord Brunson. I've collaborated with Lord Brunson. Joey we've done it individually. I love Lord Brunson. Anytime. I just talked to him a couple weeks ago on the phone. We're gonna do stuff. We've tried to do stuff with him and Mike. It just scheduling didn't work out, but eventually we will.
It was my fault. We were supposed to schedule, I think, the first week of February, or I forgot when it was. I think it was my girlfriend's birthday, and I had too much stuff to do, and we ended up canceling. So I think it was my fault last time we tried to.
Yeah, I mean, we'll do it. I love him. I know nothing but love and respect for him. So I mean, we've done it before. We'll do it again. Dad says, I was watching the Cowboys live stream earlier, and every single Cowboys fan is scared about tomorrow and already given up. I mean, they should definitely, be scared, and hopefully the team will give up, and it'll be a nice, easy game. We can get our starters out. That would be beautiful. The Toilet Smoker, thank you for a super chat, my man. He goes, Mark's going to stress eat 10 glizzies down his throat. Yeah, poor Mark. He went all the way down to Dallas just to watch his team take a beating. Let's see here. 500 smells like piss. You believe this is this dude's name?
It's friggin' J-Dog. It's got to be J-Dog.
Of course it is. Yeah, of course. He probably wanted to do something with my neck, but like no neck 500, but they'll we'll know it's him. Tortiville says 500. You might have to forward the gambler's addiction phone number from BetUS to Nick if he's going to keep going for 2 when kicking an extra point. Would give us multiple. Oh, I know. You're right about that. You were right about that. Young Boy says, what up, guys? Defense is probably our main focus point going to this game. Think of it with 3 and outs, and we'll be able to manage time possession, take the early lead, and keep our starters out and fresh. Agreed. I agree. I mean, the way I look at it, like just an easy, basic way to look at this game, Dallas' 2 biggest problems are they can't run the ball and they can't stop the run. The 2 things you have to do with the Eagles is you have to be able to run the ball. The Eagles can be susceptible to that, but they can't run the ball. And you got to be able to stop the run, and they can't do that. And the Eagles do that great. I think Eagles, Detroit, and Baltimore are the best 3 running teams, in my opinion, in the league. So I just don't think it's a good matchup for Dallas, the way that they're built. You know what I mean?
Yeah, true.
I mean, the Cowboys, they're starting to do mock drafts. Their mock drafts have already started. And like I said, I'm going to have to start actually rooting for Dallas coming up soon because I don't want them to get like Travis Hunter. I don't want them to be able to get a top 3, top 4 pick. So we need them to win some games, just not us.
True that.
So we'll see. Let's see here. Betty says the 500, the Eagles coaching staff will be the reason the Commanders beat y'all. Well, I mean, I do worry about Nick. So, I mean, we'll see. Hopefully it won't come to that. But that's going to be a great game, man. I can't wait for that Commanders game. We just got to get – it's interesting. I can't remember the last time I said, I can't wait to get the Cowboys game out of the way for Washington. Usually it's the exact opposite. But Man, that Washington Eagles game is going to be insane. Dude, I might have to talk to you about doing the preview game early this week. Do we
Oh
want
yeah,
to,
yeah.
do we want to do it Wednesday night or something? Because man, that game's going to be awesome.
Probably the biggest game on Thursday Night Football this season so far. Yeah.
It is. Yeah, it is. I mean, you got two legitimately good teams. Whether you think Washington's good or not, I tend to believe Washington's a good team. With a young quarterback, and I think you got two really good teams going to play each other, and it's going to be a huge impact on tiebreakers on the division,
Mhm.
and so yeah, it's a big game. Even if you want to talk about tiebreakers, like when you talk about strength of opponents, you know what I mean? Wins against, your winning percentages against teams with winning records, like things like that. This is a big game because Washington's 7-2. They win tomorrow. They're 8-2. We win tomorrow. We're 7-2. I mean, it's a huge game on Thursday. I can't believe we're getting a Thursday night game finally.
Crazy, yeah.
It's gonna be interesting. Let's see here. Shark, thank you for the super chat. I read online that in a few places that Kellen is very aggressive and goes for it on fourth down. People hate on Nick. What if it was Kellen's idea also? Well, I mean, Nick is the one that says that he calls
said it
and makes those decisions. And listen, I don't have as much problem with the 2-point conversion ones as other people do. I heard Dan Stiller's killing him about the 2-point conversions, but when a team gets a penalty on extra point and it's half the distance, teams go for 2 points. That's what they do. And also, they completely blew the call on
on one touch. Yeah.
He had the 2-point conversion. They did. It should have been overturned. My biggest problem with Nick and the decision making is when it was fourth and I want to say 3 or something, and you're up. I think they were up 2 scores, and if you kick the field goal, you're now up 3 scores and not 2 scores. And he goes for it and doesn't get it. And to me, when you're in the fourth quarter and you could go up 3 scores, meaning that team needs 3 possessions to be able to even tie it up or take a lead, you've got to take the points in that situation. That to me is the bigger problem. Otherwise, the other ones I didn't care as much.
Oh, necessarily if you get up to the 1 yard line off a penalty, I mean, maybe the push tush isn't the right play, because if you get no push on that play, you're leaving it up to the refs to really make that decision for you. And you know how bad they've been this year with a lot of these primetime games going forward, and some of these other games that have been playing. We've seen it before. So maybe maybe the push tush isn't the right play to use on 2-point conversions. Maybe just, I don't know. Just depends.
Yeah. What a mother humper. This J-Dog. I want to double move his ass. I just have dreams of the Stone Cold Stunner being applied to J-Dog. No neck 500. 500. I got a picture. All love 500. I do this to Joey to wonder where the Diddy guy is to cheer him up. I don't know where he is. I don't know. Toilet Smoke, thank you for super chat. He goes, it's going to be like a 4th and 30 and at our own 10, and Nick's going to go call it right now. Yeah, probably. Let's see. Easy is his name. Says 500. Nick can't stop taking the under on BetUS. Code YouTube 150 to get 50%. Yeah. Hey, promo code YouTube 150. BetUS. Shout out to them. Yeah, I have a problem where I don't take the unders. I never take unders. I hate taking unders.
No.
Because the thing is, if you get 1-2 quick scores, you're done. You're done.
Right.
And I just always take the overs. I do. Always take the over. Always take the hook. And thank you for that super chat. Let's see here. The tush push isn't as good without Kelsey. It's not. It's not. But the play I'm talking about in the fourth quarter, they didn't do the push tush. They rolled Hurts out to the right, and there was a tight end came open briefly for a second, and he wind up, I think throwing an incomplete or whatever. But like, to me, it was like, if you just kick the field goal there, it becomes a 3-possession game, not a 2-possession game. And in the fourth quarter, okay, maybe not the second quarter, it's not as big of a deal, but in the fourth quarter, that's a huge deal. You can't do that. And to me, that was my big issue with him. I didn't the 2-point conversions. Every team is going to go for the 2-point if there's a penalty and half the distance. So it's just the way it is. In flight, David Super Chat. He goes, should we start Sidney Brown? Over who? Like, you're going to take out Reed Blanket? I wouldn't. I'm not taking out. I'm not taking out anybody right now. I'm playing the guys. What I want to do is I want to see more Jalen Hunt in there in certain pass situations. Like, isn't there a way we can put Brandon Graham inside on third down pass rush situations, and then put Jalen Hunt on the outside? I would love to see that. Antonio Holmes says, Guyton and Diggs are questionable. Zach hasn't practiced in the last 2 days at all. They are pessimistic of him playing. They don't have him none out. Okay, well, they're waiting. I can tell you, though, like 80% of the time, if you don't practice on Friday, you're not playing. And teams don't play guys if they don't practice. So I think we'll be good to go. Slagger says, you got to remember, Nick is a goofball, but he's also a fall on the sword guy. He's proven in the past that he'll deflect blame onto himself. So you have to wonder sometimes what's actually going on. Yeah, in certain things, I guess that's true. But I do believe that the coach does decide, we're going for this on fourth down. We're not going for this on fourth down. Let's kick the field goal, go for the 2-point. So, but yeah, he does. He will do that.
Yeah.
And I think that's why guys like him. To be honest with you, Brooks, thank you for super chat. Joey, do you miss playing football? You looked like a beast.
I mean, yeah, I miss it entirely. To hit somebody legally and not get arrested for it. Oh yeah, it was the best thing ever. Best thing ever.
There you go.
What was that? What was that look? What was that?
No, it's just
whatever. Just keep talking.
I was waiting for the pause.
Read the chat.
I like that. It.
All right. Read the chat.
Okay, see what I'm saying? Just let me have my little face. Tortville says, "Oh, I agree. Nick chasing points is a huge problem. He has an ego, and I also think the front office probably backs him with their funky analytics. If Flory wanted Nick to stop, he would stop." Oh, I agree. I agree with you. I think that they're perfectly okay with that. You just gotta. You would hate to see a situation like in the playoff game, where you could have made a 3-possession game and then you lose a game because they had one extra possession. That was my main issue with him. I actually like bald head Nick. I say keep shaving your head. Like the things that don't bother me about Nick is like the things that bother other people about Nick don't bother me. Like it doesn't bother me when he's yapping. I don't care about that. That don't bother me. Like arguing, talking to fans, talking to the coaches, making weird, like all that don't bother me. I just don't like, I don't like being illogical with like certain decisions. And I don't like him calling any of the offense. John Jones says, why was Goddard practicing? He's going to play. Goddard's playing. Yeah, he's playing. I think Goddard needs to play this game. See, Devontae, I was like, if he's not healthy, rest him. But Goddard needs reps. So you want to get Goddard reps because you're going to need him in that game versus Washington. Although a lot of people are like, I don't know, Kyle Katerra is playing really good football right now. Do we want to take him out? Well, and it's a legitimate question, Well,
I mean, they might run double tight end sets too. I mean, I think that can expand their offense if they throw both of them. If they're not using Jahan Dotson, then they might as well run some double tight end sets at this point. So because Hurts has the chemistry of both those tight ends, like this is a nice practice game for Goddard. Yeah. So
yeah. No, I agree. He 500. Okay, you're that chick on the right. No. Is this the same one? Somebody asked me about this chick. Who is it? Is that me? What is it funny? Is that did they put my head on it?
The fucking name is so stupid.
Hit her where it. Oh my god! I didn't read the name. I didn't even read the name. I read the comment because somebody was asking me that the other day, and I'm like, I don't know who you're talking about. And they're like on the right, and I'm looking on the right of my screen, going, I don't see any girl. And they're talking about the thumbnail. Boy, I am really stupid sometimes. That's why my wife. Sometimes I wonder why my wife gives me look. Like I'll be doing something, and I'll look over at her, and she just looks at me like, "You are so dumb." Like really, just like the look, like this guy's so dumb. And I know.
Philly's falling asleep. Philly 500 is falling asleep one night. He sends me a voice text. So I'm reading the words. I'm like, what the fuck is this guy even? I mean, I wish I could go back to it because it was like the most random. I'm like, what in the fuck are you talking about?
Yeah, I sent Joey a half asleep text message, but like it was audio, and it was just like me. I just rambling. I was typing. I tend to. I text in my sleep. I've done it before. Sorry, I didn't mean to do it to you. That was so embarrassing. Joey's like, what the frick are you talking about? I'm like, oh, I'm sorry, I was falling asleep. Because I'll be like this sometimes on the couch. And I'll be like this. And I do this. And my wife will be like, stop texting. You're sleeping. You're falling asleep. Because a lot of times, other times, my phone will just fall on my face. Because I'll have it like this. And I'm sorry. And it just falls. So, yeah, I text Joey half asleep. And I don't know what I said, but it was like I don't know. It was like, did you go over the hill to take the pizza to the dog?
Yeah,
it was like
weird.
really random. It was just like whatever I was dreaming about or whatever. It didn't make any sense. My wife actually has she actually keeps a list of things I say in my sleep. So I could literally get her on here and she could do a half hour of shit I've said. Like just random stuff. It's crazy. Elaine says, "Does a crap load of Eagle fans that flew to Dallas?" Yeah, a lot of Eagle fans are down in Dallas. Yeah, that's true. Let's see here. All Nick does is coach playoff football teams. Yeah, so did Barry Switzer. Listen, I don't want to trash Nick. I don't, and I'm not. But I got to keep it real. Joe says it's like Mingo was a perfect project trade. They should have given a fifth, but they really need to get Adams or Cup. Yeah, they're done. They
have no quarterback now, so
they have no quarterback now. But I think Jerry Jones did that to just appease the fans. Because they're crying. How is Mingo going to help them? It was a joke. I would actually be. I would be I would literally be I would be offended if I was a Cowboy fan. I really would. The sentence made no sense. Which one? I know which one. The one I texted Joey. I mean, that was the whole thing. It was just random. Nathan says, I saw an anti-highlight reel of Mingo with out-of-tune recorder. Sounds hilarious. I'll have to check it out. That's probably pretty funny. I think Jones is tanking. He's going for Travis Hunter in the draft. I think you're right. I think he wants Travis Hunter. It makes sense. It makes sense. But, Dallas is done. I mean, they're done for this year. Hopefully Thanksgiving they beat the Giants and maybe they split with Washington. I'm sorry, it kind of isn't as fun when Dallas is really bad. It's when them or the Giants are good, besides just the Eagles and what, it's a little funner. Nathan says, I saw that, and I just read that. I think Jones was. I just read that. 500. I know our defense is good because we shut down Chase. And you saw. Oh my God! Did you see Jamar Chase last night, Thursday night? Holy crap. 200 and what? Like 50 yards, something ridiculous like that. The guy went off, dude. I won big money. I won big money because of the Bengals. Kyron says, at least Nick doesn't sabotage the gameplay after only potential moments. Yeah. Listen, Nick has his strengths. He has his weaknesses. Right now, I just think it's so hard to be mad at anybody on this team about anything. They're starting to play good football. They're not at their best. Nick does make mistakes, with some of the decision making. As long as, maybe he feels like, hey, you know what? I can do these things during a regular season, but as soon as the playoff comes, I'll be a lot smarter. I hope. I don't know, Hopefully we beat the crap out of Dallas enough where his decisions aren't going to mean anything. It ain't going to matter. The Lord's Grace, thank you for super chat. He goes, what happened with our other running back? Jalen Hurts, what's the injury? Yeah, I don't know that Jalen Hurts is really hurt or not. They're saying he might have an ankle problem because Nick came out and said something about Jalen Hurts with an ankle problem, and people were like, well, we thought he didn't practice because you were resting him. And he goes, oh, yeah, he's rest. I thought you were talking about somebody else. And then nobody believed him, except for me. I think I was literally the only person that believed nothing was wrong with him. But not sure that Jalen Hurts is hurt or not. I really don't know. And the other running back, Will Shipley, we were talking earlier that we think he needs more carries now. He needs an opportunity.
He really does. Yeah, really does.
We need a step it up tomorrow. Dallas still stinks. I agree. Shark David Super Chat goes, I want to go for it every fourth down. F it. We don't get it. Send the defense back out. Hey, Coop, go make a play. Yeah, well, when you got that kind of defense, then you're set. I just want them to play smart football. I don't want to give teams extra possessions.
No.
I don't want to give teams extra opportunities to win. I want to go into Dallas. I want to beat the crap out of them. I want this team to get up on them early, make them quit, and I want to get these starters out by the fourth quarter. That's what I want. That's what I'm hoping.
Yeah, I think part of being aggressive too is because he has faith. I mean, Nick has a lot of faith in the defense as well, and defense is good, man. They've been played well.
Yeah. Young Boy Majesty says, why is this organization scared of new talent? We never give the next guy an opportunity. Please correct me if I'm wrong, but over the years, it's not our stars. We shy away from the position. Well, you're right. In years prior, you wouldn't see Q and you wouldn't see DeGene. You might see Q at the end of the year, rotate in here or there, but they wouldn't. And I think certain coaches, I think Doug is one of those guys that, like a veteran type coach. He wants the veteran guys. But this year, I think is a little different, especially on the defensive side of the ball. I mean, I don't know if you remember, but when we were talking about the plan for the all season and how to rebuild the team and what we needed, if you remember, when I started making an argument for Barkley, I was like, we need to make our offense better. We need to make the offense better. Go out and spend money on the offense, make it that much better, and then go in the draft and draft young defensive players and let them play while the offense carries them. Now, the offense hasn't carried them that way, but that's essentially what the Eagles did, Joey. That's what they did. They went out and they got veteran talent on offense, and they got a lot of young guys on defense. And then the other thing is Zach Bond is like, that was a steal.
It was a random signing. It was a random sign that we didn't really know too much about. We were like, okay.
But I think, Young Boy, you're right. I think they have done that in the past where it's like they don't give these young guys a chance. And I think this is the year they're starting to do it. I think that's why they didn't make a trade at the trade deadline, because they didn't want to bring in a older veteran guy that was going to take snaps from everybody else. Now, what we need out of those young guys is we need somebody on the edge to step up, whether it's Nolan, Jalen Hunt, even if Huff finds his game. But but we're getting Sweat is finally playing good. And I
Yeah.
think if we can get that one more guy to be a good pass rusher, I think this defense is fun to watch. Like I said, they're fun to watch. They're exciting. They're good. They're talented. And I think they're only going to be better going in the playoffs.
No, I totally agree, 100%.
Yeah.
Totally agree.
Yep. Toryville says, I guarantee that Jake Elliott hates Nick's decision. He put him out there for low percentage, 55-yard plus field goal. And so his field goal percentage looked really bad now. Yeah, I didn't like that either, because there's like, you put him out there in that situation cold, you know? I mean, like I said, I have some issues with Nick offensive calling, and then some of his, the way he manages the game. But I'm not gonna. They're on a winning streak right now. I'm not gonna kill them. Keep doing what you're doing. Just learn from your mistake, and get it right next time. Tamika Rice, David Super Chat. Why do you all seem to think you do things differently and better than Nick? Where's your coaching experience? Well, I mean, I don't think you need to be a brain surgeon. I don't think trying to figure out what the right logical call in a football game is some sort of equivalency to having to go I don't know, learn to build rockets. It doesn't take a rocket scientist to know that if you kick a field goal in the fourth quarter, you go up 3 possessions instead of 2 possessions. So I don't think you need coaching experience to figure that out. To be quite honest with you, I don't. I think it's common sense, and most good coaches have done that in the past, and that's just the way it is. You have anything you want to say? And thank you for that super chat. You want to say anything about that comment?
I think 23 plus is 23 plus. I think is going to be too much. Like, I think he's got to be 15 to 23 is like I would really like him to have like maybe 15 to 17 for this game.
What are you talking about?
For Saquon, you're cutting.
No. I meant the previous question about Nick and not having coach experience.
I think maybe part of it, because really when he came from the Colts, he came into the Eagles in 21 as a game planner, and obviously that didn't work out. That didn't last too long because he gave away the play calling mid-season because we weren't running the football that much and we were just really gunning it downfield all the time. So I think over time he will hopefully learn. We won't take much into being aggressive. We won't say, hey, he's overly aggressive at times, sure, but being aggressive is not a bad thing. It's just when you're going crazy at some points where it's chaotic, then you can't do it every game though. Sometimes you got to settle, and but I get what he has confidence in the guys, but I'm hoping it's a learning experience, or he has no control of this at all and he's pushing analytics from what he should be doing.
Well, yeah. Well, who knows? I mean, like I said, there's simple decisions that he's making that it's not brain surgery to know that you could go up 3 possessions in the fourth quarter instead of 2. So I don't think that you need to have coaching experience to be able to comment on it. All right, it's not. Yeah. We're not talking about that. We're not talking about. I'm not building a rocket. We're not having open heart surgery here. We're talking about a football game, and it doesn't take a genius to know those things. So I don't think it's unfair to talk about it not having coaching experience, or you have to have it to talk about it. In flight, David Super Chat. How many carries are too much for 26? Okay, now I know what you were talking about. I was like, okay, I didn't know what you were talking about.
You were cutting out before. Yeah.
I was like, wait, what? All right. Yeah. So what were you saying? You think?
I said if they keep, like you said earlier, like I think like 15 to 17. I mean, I would say 15 to 23 carries. I would say 23 the most, and let the other 2 take over if right. Possibly,
Yeah. I mean, I'm hoping under 20 for this game. The Washington game, I think you need to just let it. Whatever you need, you need to do it. But you do got to save them for the rest of the year. So, I just think the best way to do it is just give some opportunity to Shipley, and then let Gainwell do what Gainwell does weekly. I think that's the way to do it.
Right.
But we'll see. Bald Eagle David Super Chat. We can easily beat the Ravens. They have the most explosive plays and give up the most explosive plays. We are literally built for that. That's going to be a fun game to watch. That's going to be, really a good game. But I think the Eagles could beat them. I do. I think the next two games are more important than that game, though. I will say.
Oh,
you want to see where you're at from, the Ravens are this good. You want to see how you stack up. Fine, but tiebreakers, all that kind of stuff is not nearly as important as these next two games. Young Boy Majesty, thank you for super tickets. Well said. Thanks. Thank you. I'm not sure.
What said.
But yes. Let's see. Chris says, Saquon better not hurt his hands from waving to the Cowboys defensive player as he's running for the house. Yeah, that's right. I think Saquon. Saquon. Somebody, I don't know if this is true. Somebody said to me that he's never beaten the Cowboys with the Giants. He's never beaten them.
I don't think. Yeah, that was the stat that I seen on X. Yeah, he's never beaten. That's crazy, dude.
That's crazy, right?
Yeah,
he is. He is going to be fired up to beat them. Definitely. The dude says, I tend to get Nick for what looks like a dumbass coach, but he does have a boss. And if his boss does have a problem with it, Nick will continue doing it. I agree. And Joey may be right. There may be a lot of stuff that Nick is just taking taking it, for the team and just saying, yeah, I did it and didn't. I mean, this is totally possible. There's no doubt about it. Let's see here. Hey, Phil, I think Jerry's tanking so he can fire McCarthy and hire Deion Sanders and would draft Hunter and trade away. Yeah, I mean, that's what Michael Irving thought that was the case, Easiest name says, you don't have to be a head coach to know to roll, not to roll your quarterback out 15 yards on a 4th and inches.
Yeah,
Come on now.
That was my boiling point of when I started to flip out.
Well, that's the play I'm talking about, because if he goes for it, you do the push tush, you probably get it. But otherwise, you kick the field goal, you go up 3 scores. You know, and that's important.
Yeah.
But I don't know. We won the game at the end of the day, and so I don't want to. I don't want to kill the guy. I just. If people ask me honestly what concerns me about this team, what I worry about Nick making plays like that costs us a game some point late in the season or in the playoffs. Which King says the only NFC team Lamar lost to is the Giants. That's crazy. That is crazy. Well, that just shows you can't overlook a team, and the Eagles better be ready to play this game.
Yeah.
Because Dallas, those guys, their seasons, like they lose this game, they're done. I mean, they're done. They're done already, but they're thinking we still got a shot if we go on a roll. They lose this game, it's over.
Yeah, it's true.
K. Robinson says the aggressiveness is not on Nick. It is what they want. Yeah, it very well, it very well could be. It's true. Whatever the reason is, whether it's Nick or not, he's going to take the brunt of it. And all I'm saying is that aggressiveness. I like the aggressiveness, but I like smart aggressiveness. Like you just got to be smart about it.
Yeah, true.
I definitely think we could beat Baltimore. Their pass defense is suspect. Also, Vic's defense is better against mobile quarterbacks versus pocket quarterbacks that can sit back there and hit every window versus our zone. Yeah, it's true. It is true. And you know what else? Vic's record against Dallas is really, really good too. I forget what it is, especially Dak. He's owned them.
I think the Eagles have looked better on the edge, considering maybe you're not getting the sack numbers that you want, but you're getting. I think they're containing a lot better. They're not letting anything, get past them on the outside too much. And obviously, linebackers are playing downhill at times, playing really well. And obviously, Cooper DeJean being now settled into this defense was a huge upgrade for run support. So I think it's been a lot better against more mobile quarterbacks, no doubt.
Yeah. Yeah. Nathan says, "You're Philly. Where'd you get that hat?" We have
Say it again.
Where did you get it? Hatland.com.
Hatland.com. Shout out.
Yep. Shout out to them. Marie says, "Steal 500, Joey. Do you think the league cheated us out of a home game this year?" I won't say cheat, but yeah, I think so. I mean, we won the game; it worked out, but man, that's a tough game. I think to not be at home for. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
So
didn't
we'll
really
see.
love it. Yeah.
Yeah. Hornbuckle says, "Thoughts on the tight end position in future, and would you extend Grant or draft one after Dallas?" I think the Eagles need to spend a high pick on a tight end this year. And I say it like I think second or third round they should look for a tight end. I think they need a premier pass rusher in the first, and I think the tight end should be high on their priority. And I would try to extend Grant Alcantara. I think he's getting better and better every year.
Yeah, I agree 100%. Early rounds, get a tight end, get Dallas Goedert's replacement. I mean, it's just almost the fact that he's been hurt twice. He's been hurt the last few years. He's missing 4 to 6 games. He got hurt. This is his second injury. He had the oblique injury. Now he's had this injury now. So yeah, I agree.
Yep. Easy is his name. Says 500. Your comment on Dallas. They're the trash that doesn't fit in the trash can because you take the Giants are already in it. It's fun. You put them right next to them. That's who they are. There's no doubt about it. Rico says the only worry I have for this game is there's no tape on Cooper Rush this year, and McCarthy is going to try to pick plays to save him from getting fired. Yeah, I mean there is that. There's definitely that, but how much can he really do is my question if you can't run the ball. Like I see that kind of advantage being something early in the game, like first quarter and stuff. But once the Eagles make the adjustments, I don't know what Dallas can do at that point. Kyle says, "Philly and Joey, are you going to wear the Matt Corral jerseys next year?" Absolutely. Dude, that Matt Corral jerseys have not done us wrong at all. They haven't. They haven't.
No,
done
I
us wrong
agree.
at
No,
all.
I get it. I agree.
I mean, we've had amazing things happen in that.
Mm-hmm.
Shark, thank you for Super Chat. Goes 500, smoke cigars after we win. Joey, what do? Joey probably be throwing boxing combos in the air, and I mean mugging in the mirror. Joey has big shadow boxing matches.
I celebrate
Heavyweight championships. Joey celebrates. Eagles fan from South. Thank you for Super Chat. He goes, "Do you believe the rumor about Jalen's injury?" I think I was the only person literally that didn't believe there was any problem. I was like, "No, Nick's telling the truth." And people were like, "Are you crazy? He's protecting him." I'm like, "Nah, he didn't. That's not a."
But why even say that?
Do, yeah.
Why even say that? It's weird. Like, why say that then backtrack?
I think he just got, he was smoking his weed before the press conference, and he got confused. I think he wasn't paying attention, and the question was asked, and he just tried to answer, and I don't know. I don't know. I don't know why, honestly. I don't know why. Maybe he is, maybe he isn't. But I know that if he isn't, that's he can get in trouble, K. Robinson says the Kelly Greens have been good luck. When do we wear them again? We wear them against Dallas and Philly. So the Dallas Philly game, I don't like late December, I think. That's where it is.
Right.
So I believe that if everything goes according to plan, that game will be the game that either wins the division or clinches home field throughout the playoffs. Let's hope.
You're hoping.
Easy as his name is concerned, said, yeah. Kelly Green, it's so funny to me because I don't know another team in the league that their alternate jersey is everywhere. Like, if you look at the stadium, I don't care what game it is, but you look at a home game, and when they show the overhead with the crowd, it's all Kelly Green. The whole stadium's Kelly Green. It's crazy. Joe says 500 with Howie not making a move at the trade deadline. Do you guys believe he sees potential in young guys we got? Yeah, I think that was primarily that was the reason why he didn't make a trade. I think the only way he would have made a trade if it was for a young player that he would looked at and said, all right, we could get this guy and we're going to keep him for the next 3, 4, 5 years. But he didn't want to do anything that was going to basically take away from these young guys playing. They're playing good and they're learning. They make mistakes, all those kind of things, but they're young, they're talented, they're fun to watch, and I have no problem with him not making a move with it.
Yeah, no, I agree with all of that.
Yeah. So I mean, we'll see. But I don't know. Is there anything else that we were missing or anything before we go? You want to give me your prediction? I know you love that so much.
You know what? I'll say 31-14.
Yeah, 31-14.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I think they'll separate. They should separate drastically in this game. So
yeah, I think I think the first 2 quarters the Eagles play down to Dallas, keep them in it, and then they blow it open in the second half. I think what will happen. I have the Eagles winning also. I have them 34-17. So 34-17, 34-30, somewhere around there, I think it'll be. Crowley says, wanted an edge over Huff, though. Yeah, listen, I get the want of an edge rusher, but I'm thinking, man, maybe, you got Jalen Hunt. They want to play him. I think Nolan Smith also is another guy that you're not just taking snaps away from Huff, you'd be taking snaps away from those guys. So I think it would, like, if Trevon Walker was available, I think they would do something like that. Zadarius Smith, I don't think they wanted to take snaps away from everybody else. And hopefully Huff gets going, man. I'm still hopeful that he'll start to figure this out. But he's losing, reps really quick.
yeah, had that injury in pregame, and then he only played 5-6 snaps. So that was it. That was his day against the Jags.
Yeah. I mean, you look at this defense. You look at the young guys, right? Jalen Carter, Jordan Davis, Nolan Smith, Nakobe Dean. I'm assuming Bond. He's not young, but he just really found a home. Hopefully, he stays. Q, Cooper DeJean. I mean, you got a lot of young nucleus on defense, and if you go out and get yourself a premier pass rusher next year, I think this defense is set, man. I do. Eagles fan from the South, Denver Super Chat goes, why don't we use a wide receiver 3? I don't know. It's just something that they haven't done. You know what I mean?
It's weird because, like, the Commanders use all of their receivers, like the Omni Brown. They use, Alameda Zakia says, I don't know how many. They get him involved every week. They actually have him as a punt returner. I mean, we never even had him. You know what I mean? Even I don't know if they tried him out at that spot, but I don't get this whole thing at wide receiver 3. I don't get why they don't get. They especially don't get Jahan Dotson involved. We know he's got talent. I don't know why they treat him like he's a practice squad player that went to the active roster for a game and had one good catch and they took him out of the game. They're treating him like, I don't know, man.
Do you think it's a situation where it's just Hurts' decision making and he's just not going to him, or do you think?
I think we've seen an example with no AJ Brown when he was out. Devontae Smith was out for that game, and Paris Campbell was like the closest thing, and it wasn't even by like 3-4 catches. It was our targets, I should say. So I mean, Johnny Wilson, they gave him a shot last week. Great. It got, obviously it got, the touchdown came back. And Jahan Dotson had that one fantastic catch, but I want to see more Jahan Dotson, man. I really do. Especially for Thursday night. They want to get him involved.
Oh man, that would be great if you could get him involved. No doubt about it. Sorry about that. But yeah, no, I hear you. I hear. Is Covey out for season? No, Covey's not out for season. He should be back really soon. Him and Mulata should both be back soon, to be honest with you. Listen, it's going to be a fun day tomorrow. You're streaming the game, Joey? Joey's streaming. I'll be live 1 o'clock, but I'll be live for the Washington game, and then I'll be live, of course, for the Eagles game, then the post game, and then hopefully a cigar video, and hopefully some aliens show up while I'm out there smoking. It'll be fun.
Did you watch Tulsa last week?
I did. Yeah, it was awesome. Yeah. What a great show. It's really good. And I hate the fact that it's almost over. It's like pissing me off.
2 more episodes. Sunday.
You need about 5. Yeah, I think you got 2 more episodes, right? I think there's 2 more. So I need it to run through Christmas. I really like just run through Christmas and New Year's,
Yeah.
But, yeah, we'll see. I don't know. Like once Tulsa King's over, and then Joe and Penguin, like I don't know what am I gotta have nothing to watch. I guess I have to wait for the Skinwalker Ranch show, So
Yeah.
I don't know.
Skinwalker Ranch.
Yeah, last episode of Penguin. Yeah, too. I know. I haven't watched it yet. I'm two episodes behind in the Penguin, so I need to catch up to those. But yeah, I enjoyed this past I don't know what 7-8 weeks having Tulsa Kings to watch, man. It's been good. Once it's over, I'll go back and I'll rewatch the whole thing. So
it's better to do it. It's better to do it that way. I like to binge watch everything, all in one shot, or mostly like a few days.
Yeah,
and be done with it.
Yeah. Well, Christmas stuff is getting ready to go up, so it's going to be all Christmas stuff all Christmas shows in my house. But what are you going to do?
Yeah.
Francis, we love you too. Thank you so much. But yeah. Anyways, guys, we're out of here. We're going to get going, and we'll be back. Tomorrow. I should be a good day, and I think I mean, look, I expect the Eagles to win, and then we really gonna set sights on Washington and just a monster game versus Washington on Thursday night. So should be a lot of fun. With that said, guys, we are out of here. Peace.
Oh, you have plenty of time.
Come on.
Oh shit! Dad! No!
It's over! It's over! This game is over. Cut it off. It's over.
Fuck.
Congratulations, Green Bay. Congratulations, Green Bay. Congratulations, Green Bay.
I said run the ball.
Congratulations, Green Bay. Dak Prescott, you need to be fired today. That was on you, Dad. That was on you, Dad. That was on you, Dad.
I said run the ball.
That was on Dak Prescott. Trying to feed the fantasy lamb. You tried to feed the sea lamb. You tried to give it to sea lamb. God! It's over! It's over, Dak! Put Trey Lance in the game. Trey Lance can't do worse than you.
I'm an idiot because I buy into this shit. Because here's the thing. I am a grown-ass man. And I talk the talk. It is killing me.
I feel it coming. I feel like it's going to take Jerry Jones taking. Cut it off. It's over.